So everyone, we are blessed to have one of the guys that I have met. I met him doing I would say not like a charity event, but an event where we can give back to the community. And we was out there just giving our service to I want to say not less fortunate, but people that maybe just having a hard time and they just needed help at that moment. And we gave our service by cutting hair, dyeing hair, or just giving that person a true makeover and just making them feel as wonderful as they feel on the inside, but we brought it out on the outside. So I am truly blessed and I'm grateful to, be on this new adventure that I've created, which is called Talk Your Barber Shit. But we have someone that has hit all fields and just not only a barber, but I want to let this person come in and share his world with us. And I just want to say thank you for jumping aboard with me. So the floor is yours.
Thanks for having me, man. First of all, so you're jumping into barbering, and I think that's so cool. The fact that you showed up for that event speaks volumes about why you're in this industry. And that's amazing. That event was one cut at a time. It's one of the number one things that I missed this year, just because COVID has made it a little bit more difficult to do things like that. We're actually doing something on Saturday in Skid Row. I'll give you more details in a little bit.
Okay.
With a man named Yuri, a future superhero, but we're doing it for homeless vets in Skid Row, and I'll send you the details on that. But it's amazing because events like that teach us that we're all human, and it's literally just about being human to other humans. And I think in this environment, we're not going to go into details about what's happening tomorrow, but
Yeah.
in this current environment, I think it's key to remind everyone around us, like, we're human. And I think the most important thing about that is just working together as humans to be better humans. So just the fact that you showed up to that event and that's where I met you, I trust you already. I think you're awesome.
That means a lot. Thank you.
Blessed to be here, man. I'm really happy to be here. I'm also like really awkward on film, so if I like foot and mouth syndrome, anything like that.
No, we do it great. Yeah, tell people more about detail about yourself. How did you get started? What made you decide to jump into this field? How long you been doing it? Where they can find you if they want to come and get that wonderful hairstyle from you? Like, the floor is yours.
So I'm not technically a barber. Let's just get that out there real quick. But I am willing to talk the barber shit.
Okay.
But not talk shit.
Yeah.
But I'm a hairdresser. I've been a hairdresser for I think 10 years now. I own a salon in Mar Vista, just shy of Venice, with my best friend, business partner, Linda Quach, Linda Hair Adventures on Instagram, I believe. And we got into it just to create. Well, we created our salon, which is called Space the Salon, off of a couple different things. But the number one most important was to create like a dorky, safe, fun, weird environment for everyone in between. Because we feel like there's a lot of hairdressers and barbers in this industry who have been kind of not really given it a chance or not given enough patience to like really expand and grow into their career. And so, excuse me, wow. Our salon is a place for those team members and also for the people who feel like they don't necessarily fit in anywhere else. So to answer that, like getting into the industry, it was actually interesting. If you cannot tell, I have horrible ADHD. It's so bad. It's getting better over time, but it's a constant practice. And one of the things was I I actually happened upon hairdressing by totally by chance. I was dating a girl in St. Louis, and we were in a shop, and across the way they were cutting hair on mannequin heads, and I was like, "Fuck is that? It's
Mhm.
interesting." And I went over there, and I found out that they were teaching in all multiple learning styles. I don't know exactly what they call it. We're just going to call it learning languages.
Okay.
But it was interesting because it actually catered for like ADHD kids like myself. So that's kind of what drew me in the first place. But then it turned into something very quickly that I loved being able to be artistic and creative, but with such a hands-on outlet because creativity is amazing. Like I always want people to be creative, like explore all that creativity. Trying to monetize that is not necessarily the easiest thing ever. Like you come from many different creative outlets, creative fields. It's not the easiest thing in the world. So being a hairdresser is amazing because everyone who sits in your chair is a new opportunity to be creative, and it's also a new opportunity to let that light shine because a lot of people when they come in and like this took years of practice. Uh, Learning the psychological effects that we have on the people who sit in our chairs. I actually had to research this morning because I was super curious about it. The psychology of hairdressing. A lot of people call us therapists,
Yeah. Yeah.
and and I love that. And it was interesting because so I believe that psychologically, 99.9% of the people who sit in our chair trust us more than they trust their family, their bartenders, their psychologists,
Yep.
their pastors, their whatever you want to name it. Like we just have this trust, and I think it's for the fact that like we have the ability to cut someone's hair in a way that they didn't necessarily think was possible sometimes. But I also found out that psychologically, when we talk to someone in the position that we're in, where we're talking essentially through the mirror, it creates a little bit of a buffer that they feel like it doesn't feel like clinical psychology where it's face to face or something like that. It's something where they have this buffer where they feel a little bit more safe, and thus they share everything with us. So the passion for hairdressing was really interesting because it became more so about helping the person in my chair than it did about actually doing the haircut, because people sit down with all this baggage, all this weight, all this stuff, whatever you want to call it, like from whatever reason they have it. And it's so interesting that they trust us enough to like to hand over that baggage and be like, what do I do with this? I don't know. So it was amazing to have that ability to just help people and help them like understand that we're all human and we're all capable of greatness as much as we want to put into it. So, with that being said, it's actually interesting to me that for me, the cut, the color, whatever you want to call it, like whatever service you're providing, is really only 20% of the service. 80% of it is how you make that person feel. And like if someone sits in my chair with this, I'm growing a skullet right now too.
Oh wow,
It's
that's great.
that's in lieu of my pink beard because I miss it. Um, it's about the confidence that comes with it. Because even if someone doesn't have hair, if they walk in shoulders tall, chest pumped, like ready to rock and roll, it's no longer about the haircut. So the haircut's only 20% of the process or battle or whatever you want to call it.
You know, that's funny. That's actually true. Like, I feel more comfortable, and like, yeah, you said, you just feel more relaxed when once you get in that chair and you next to someone that's you know really like so close to you because they're actually in your hair and they're like transforming you to the person that you want to be because at the end of the day everybody wants to have that confidence and that that new it's like that new upcoming like almost like a butterfly going in well a caterpillar going to a shell and coming out as a butterfly. So yeah, once you can make that person feel that way, like you got them for life. Yeah. Um, when was it a point where when you decided to take this new journey and it was a moment where you said, what if? Or that if factor, like, am I making the right choice to be in the world, taking upon myself?
So you were asking about hair color earlier.
Yeah.
The only real time I struggle with the what ifs is during hair color processing, specifically lightning. And that's actually I couldn't stop laughing when I answered that too. But it's interesting because that's why I chose to focus almost solely on just cutting hair. Um, okay, so one of my biggest things is experiment in everything that you can. Like just dip your feet in whatever you can and try it and give it a try, but focus on like a collection of those techniques that really resonate with you. And with that being said, cutting was what always resonated with me, whether it was like a long haircut, concave layers, a mullet, like whatever it is. Even a mullet is like a very technical haircut. It's very easy to mess up, but it's also when you pull it off, it can be one of the most beautiful things that you can create in the industry. Like it's also really hard to explain that to people sometimes. But the what ifs were definitely like, what ifs kind of came in like I didn't know if it was necessarily when I got into the industry. I think I was 20-ish years old when I went to hair school. 20, I think so. I don't know, it was a while ago. But I got in, and as anyone who's been through their 20s knows, you spend your 20s having fun, but learning how much you can get punched in the face. So it was interesting going through just experiencing all the stuff that I did. And it was a lot of burning of bridges. It was a lot of negative, dumb shit, but it was a lot of learning and growing. And it was interesting because some of those times I was wondering, like, what if hairdressing isn't for me? And it was interesting because a lot of those times are when you fuck up someone's hair. And for anyone new to this industry, like, please get yourself in the mindset that you are gonna fuck up hair. It's gonna happen. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. But the best part is your mentors have too. You can fuck up like 75 cuts and then learn how to do it once. And once you get that one time and like you get that technique down and you learn, 75 might be an over exaggeration, but whatever. Once you get that one time, like it turns into something amazing. So number one, like, fail or no fail, commit. If you're gonna do it, commit to it. That was something that was really difficult for me because, again, with ADHD, I was always searching for things that would fuel me, that would make me happy, that would make me do my stuff. And so like I got into DJing, fashion, art, like so many different things. What is it? Jack of all trades, master of none. I wish that I had spent my 20s being a master of one instead of a jack off. So,
I'm right there with you.
Yeah. But it's something that, like, for anyone walking into this, like, don't let the what if stop you. Commit to what you're doing. Try to be a master of the things that you find out that you love in this industry. But also know that, like, yes, everyone deals with the what if at some point or another. And if you don't, maybe it's coming in the long run. I don't know.
I know. I see a wonderful jacket that you have. I loved it. The NASA jacket.
Thanks, buddy.
And then I know you said, say nasty.
It's been my favorite jacket since I moved to Los Angeles.
But I know you say you guys theme at the shop is like space, kind of like spacey atmosphere.
We are space meets anime themed. So I am a gigantic space nerd.
Okay.
Giant space nerd. because I used to be terrified of space. Like space scared the crap out of me. And through being a kid, like getting excited about space, I eventually like faced that fear, and now I'm obsessed with it. If you sit in my chair, there's a good chance we're going to talk about astrophysics at some point, just because like space is mind blowing. And especially like when you look at what's going on in the world right now and things that we deal with on a daily basis, like space tends to put things into perspective. I think an astronaut flying above the Earth like once said something about, I can't quote any of this because I can only remember like 75% of any quotes. But it was something about how when you're in space and when you're looking down on this beautiful pale blue dot, there are no boundary lines. There is no countries. There's just mass and people. And it's interesting because everyone that has existed in past, even dinosaurs, humans, animals, theories, religions, beliefs, everything that has happened has gone and passed. And when you're up that far, you can actually see all of that. And then when you look at that on the grand scale of the universe, hopefully it puts things into perspective for a lot of us. And that was one of the things I had to do in my life, is the little things that would make me angry or like just get perturbed. I just kind of realized like it's not worth worrying about some of this, or at least putting that energy in, especially because when you look at our life on this planet compared to the universe, compared to our Milky Way alone, a little fart flip. Legitimately a little fart flip. And you have to think like, do you want to spend your little fart flip happy or sad? Do you want to spend it, you know, being negative and letting your ego take over and just it's doing dumb shit? Or do you want to spend that time building people up and building yourself up and just making the world a better place, starting with what you have right in front of you? And that's space. Linda loves anime. We have an entire manga wall. She's actually a cosplayer, which is super cool. She has a degree in fashion design, or in costume design.
Okay.
It's so interesting because like she does like the structural cosplay stuff that like you look at and you're just like, how did you do that? But then it's cool because all the colors, all the concepts, everything, it translates into the way that she does hair. You see these really cool manga and anime concepts and just this beautiful culture that it represents itself in the fabric of the hair. And it's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And if you want to talk about blessed, like I am blessed as hell to work next to someone who's that much of a dork and that much of an awesome human and just so ridiculously creative in everything that she does. It's awesome.
That's dope. Man, I mean, this is like really what I've been looking for. And I'm very thankful for you to like jump on here and like be open and sharing all your information. This is what it's about. When I say talk that shit, you're like, this is what I want. Giving it. But from those that will be seeing our content and watching more of these videos, but watching this video per se, and wants to jump in that field that we're, you know, hairstyling, me being a barber, trying to get into that industry and be as best as I can in the barber industry, and you doing the same in hairstyling. What key information would you give someone that will be looking at this video and saying, how can I be where he's
at? So first and foremost, don't try and be where I'm at. Be the best you that you're gonna be. Yeah. That's all you can do. Don't ever. Sorry to. This is 2020. I'm gonna be 100% real, just as always. But this is a good place to like put all this. 2020 has been the most eye-opening year for me. It has been the hardest, best, worst, most emotional up-down roller coaster of a year. And to be 100% honest, I'm blessed to even be alive right now. There have been some trying times this year that they've tested my thoughts on living, like, to be 100% honest. And it's been real. So it was interesting because I lost a friend, lost my beloved cat, opened our salon, had our grand opening, had to put my cat down less than a week later, and then had to close the salon less than a week later. So just that going into 2020 was the biggest dick punch I have ever experienced in my life. So 2020 has been, if we want to talk about silver lining, 2020 has been about what matters most to me, and what has really changed in my life is just focusing on the positive, letting the ego go, fluffing up the people that I believe in and love, picking up and calling the people that you love, like even if it's been years, like if anything, this year has taught us that like that life is short. And I know that this is something that's like not necessarily related to the question. I don't know why we went down this path in the first place, because that's how ADHD works. But
I think that what you share is delightful, and I thank you for even allowing yourself to even touch on that and share that with
yeah,
me, because we're me and you are having this conversation, but it's going to be others that's going to see this platform and probably feeling the same way, or at the moment when they see this video, it's gonna probably enlighten them to go, hey, I do need to take time out, reflect on me, and find the better me and move forward. And for you to have that road that you went through, and to have that moment and say, oh, I don't know, and then walk out of it and stand high. I want to give you all the love and tell you that hey, if you ever need someone to call or talk to, you can always reach out to me.
I appreciate that, brother, and 100% like guys. With all that being said, it's something that's like when you get into this industry, being a creative type, focus on where your ego sets. Catch that early. 100%. Do not let your ego get to your head. We all have that crash and burn moment. I'm sure you had that in the fashion industry. I'm sure in a couple of years, like you'll have that in the barbering industry. It's kind of that ebb and flow of life of just learning and growing. So the number one thing that I say, like getting into this industry, walking in, these are the things that like I wish that I had paid attention to walking into it, because I would have saved myself a lot of mental duress down the road and a lot of relationships too, was don't be an asshole to yourself or others. Catch your ego early. Don't talk shit on people. Always fluff people up. When you let your ego go, you tend to do stupid shit. So just don't do it. Oh, this is why. Okay, I remember why we went down this roller coaster of a conversation. Trying to be in someone else's shoes. It's so interesting because when you look at me, you see a tip of the iceberg, and not even that, because I am such a non-fan of social media lately that I've been trying to just stay incognito and away as much as possible. But it's interesting because sometimes you see success, and that's great, but that's not the full picture. So when it comes to being in the industry and doing that taking those steps to be where you want to be, make sure it's where you want to be and not who you think you want to be. Because there's a huge difference between those two, because even some of the biggest people in the industry deal with either the same or similar stuff that we just talked about. And it's interesting because be the best you that you can be and show up for the people that you believe in. But also going back to the fundamentals of that, excuse me. You gotta be 100% serious. Do it for the love of people and the love of humanity. If and when you decide to be a hairdresser, a barber, esthetician, whatever you want it to be, just make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. The biggest thing is if you want to do hair to be famous, you're in the wrong industry. It's also going to take you a really, really, really long time, a lot of patience and energy. But if you're doing it to just make people feel better, and literally how we met, if you're doing it to lift people up and show people like it's okay to be human, and it's about just being better humans and reminding everyone that we're all human, then you're doing it for the right reasons. And it doesn't matter what bridge you decide to cross via doing that. It's literally just all about just making the world a better place. Another thing is very much school is an investment. Yes, it's not going to be cheap. There's so many amazing programs. I'm going to be biased. My personal favorite is Precise Barber College. But that's also because one of the groups that has stemmed from Precise is a group called the Humble Project. And the Humble Project is a group that we essentially show up. It's just a bunch of people who love each other, who show up and make care packages and go pass them out for the people living on the streets. And the fact that it came from a barber school is so cool. Oh. So, but just remember that it's an investment, and yes, it is going to cost money, but beyond that, you learn all the core basics in school, but then you learn when you get out of school. So all that really cool, like scissor flipping and like foiling, and well, not foiling, you learn that in school, but all the cool shit you learn by fucking up outside of school. Yeah. That same conversation we had about that, you learn that outside of school. So school is, I don't want to say it's like preschool, because I feel like that's like a little degrading, but it's literally the baby steps of hairdressing turned into doing something really cool and like having a career and turning it into a career. And yeah, so long story short in all this, because I love talking apparently, is don't be an asshole, choose the right school, make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, and yeah, just pump up the people that you love.
You know, I usually I feel like you already touched bases on this already, but I usually always end my segment with this, and I always want to know how this takes effect in your life, and maybe others that will be watching this and maybe haven't decided on it yet or focus on it, but maybe take it in and say, okay, let me use this as a part of my livelihood. The law of attraction. How does that work with you?
The law of attraction is amazing because it's obviously it. We'll get the statement out early. It is as real as you want it to be.
Correct.
It's how I feel about a lot in life. Because I believe in a lot of crazy shit. Because I love conspiracy theories and stuff like that. Like I love talking about aliens. Wholeheartedly believe in them. Whatever you want to go like with that, it is as real as you want it to be. That being said, the law of attraction is super important when it comes to hairdressing, because it's the way that you find your crew, you find your family in the industry, and in the end, family and crew is 100% everything. The people that you surround yourself with, but it's also the people that you surround yourself with. Like that's what's most important is surrounding yourself with like-minded people who are in the industry to make a difference in the world. It's my cat licking himself. It's really funny. I'm sorry. But it's, you use the law of attraction to attract the things that you want. But it's also important to be said that there's a big difference between manifestation and assertion. Manifestation is something that's like, yes, you want to manifest like-minded things, things that are similar. Assertion is making it happen. So it's almost like it's the boots that you put on to make manifestation happen. And so like, let's say you want to do, I know I keep coming back to this, but whatever. I love cutting mullets. If I want to cut more mullets, I'm going to post pictures of mullets. If I wasn't very adverse to social media. But with the law of attraction, it's interesting because I always tell people who are fresh into the industry, if you want to build, find people that you can do the styles, the cuts, colors, whatever you want to do on those people and put them on display. If you want to do it, show it. Show that you can do it, show the best versions of doing it, and show the versatility and the fact that you can do it in so many different ways. And that's what makes it happen. That's how you attract. The law of attraction. That's dumb. I'm not gonna say that. But that's how you make that shit happen. At least in my experience. And it's also interesting, like when it comes to, again, like just change and personal change. It's almost like the shit that I've gone through this year has been like a manifestation of my life. We kind of forget. Words are super powerful. So the things that I'm going through now, I feel like it's something that has been manifested from my past. And it's interesting because through that, I've created changes in my life, and I'm constantly doing that, constantly learning and growing. But it's interesting because it leads to that assertion of, are you going to do it or are you not? And there's two quotes that I'll end with that are super important for this. Actually, three quotes, but whatever. I totally lost my train of thought on that one. The harder something is, the more it is worth it, essentially. But also, how much do you want it? You have to ask yourself, how much do you want it? What are you willing to do to get it? How much do you want it? Other quote. I never said it was easy. I said it would be worth it. And that's that sticking to it and committing to it until you learn what that next step is and how to go and what to do, and creating your own footsteps, marching by the beat of your own drum. You know, we're walking into something that, you know, we've never done before. That's why we do new things. So it's something that turns into just stick to it, commit to it. But the last quote, and this is 100% like most important. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the best one. The best way to end that, to say, if you're not having fun with it, you're doing it wrong. Yeah.
You got to find ways to have fun with it. Like 110%. Otherwise, why the hell are we living?
I want to thank you. This was amazing. This is not the end. We're going to keep rolling with this. Whenever you're available, whenever you got something going on that you want to share, and we going to, use this platform to share it with the world. I know you say you want to, I guess, talk offline about, certain projects you got coming up, or do you want?
Oh no, 110%. We're still looking for barbers. Hold on just a second. Let me look up the actual details, because again, I can only remember 75% of anything. Someone said my favorite engaging question lately has been, what are you an expert in? And an expert is like, I'm not an expert in hairdressing by any means. I'm always learning. But I believe in myself. I push and I keep going. But anyways, my favorite thing about that though is I always tell people, I give the example first. I'm an expert in memorizing up to 75% of the lyrics of any given song. I will never get the entire song right, ever, under any circumstance. It just doesn't work that way. Dyslexia doesn't allow us to do that. But with that being said, let me find this event. So we have an event coming up on Saturday with a future superhero, and I can't find it. There we go. Nailed it. So on Saturday, we are going to be in Skid Row cutting hair for, where it is. Okay, November 7th. Help us feed, cut hair, and distribute art kits for homeless veterans in Los Angeles. So we're looking for barbers, hairdressers, anyone who wants to come be a part. But wow, I'm bad at this. That's okay.
Don't worry,
Um,
we get all the
Basically,
information.
reach out, follow. It's this dude, a future superhero, all one word. All of the details are on his page. Show up if you want to be surrounded by awesome people doing awesome things. This is a great start in the right direction. Just show up for other people. Spend your life lifting people up and doing this. But yeah, on on Saturday we're doing another cutting event, and ironically enough, it's going to be the first one in a really long time. But for anyone who's available, please come out, be safe, but come be a part. And even if it's just like showing up to just fluff people up and take care of people, and just, it's again, the reason why we're there is to remind people that we're all human. We're all in this together. No one owns this rock. No one owns the people around us. This is 100% our world, and we're all humans.
Correct.
That was also like a complete contradiction of everything all at once, but just make that make sense in your head.
It does. It does. Truthfully, it does. Man, I'm gonna definitely when I post this video, I'm gonna definitely post all the information.
Cool.
So
I'll send you the link too.
yeah, definitely. And yeah, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
No, thank you, man. Thank you so much. And I hate being on video, but this has been a blast. But just thank you for having me. Thank you for giving me a platform to just ramble. And most of all, just thank you for being you and just doing what you do and doing your part to make the world a better place. Like, you're an awesome human, and I appreciate you, dude.
Thank you. And it's not done. We got more to go. This is just this first stepping stone, first stair to more that we gonna keep building and keep climbing up. So
Stairmaster.